Um,
Test subject 1.
yeah. First recording of Jason's interview for Just Jason and Nameless. Do you remember what made you so interested in music that you just had to say, yeah, I want to do that? What was your main inspiration?
It was the third time I was trying to kill myself, and I heard the song The Other Side, those Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I was like, you know what, I can do that. and then after hearing it, I was like, I'm going to try it. And I liked it, and I was alright at it.
So what was like the first instrument or, any kind of musical thing that you picked up and just went with it?
Well, I fucked around on guitar for a little bit before Todd and I started hanging out, and then I started to learn drums. And that's when I really started getting serious about playing an instrument.
What was the first song you ever considered, your first song that you wrote?
The first song that I wrote is a song I actually sold to Todd. It was called And I, and the reason I sold it to him was because I couldn't sing it. I was way out of my feet. And I sold it for a Balls energy drink at 7-Eleven at about 4:30 in the morning. That's how it's done in the record business.
So at this point, how long have you been playing any kind of music?
Oh, fuck. How old are you in 8th grade? Like
13, 14?
13, 14, maybe 15?
No, you're 14 and then 15. You start off 14 and 15.
About 7 years, at least.
Yeah, and you're just marking that as the point that you were serious for music?
Yeah, that's the point where I actually was like, alright, I'm going to try this for reals and not just kind of do, like hit my pedal into the 80s hair metal slide.
Would you actually start recording your own music? At what point?
Well, Todd and I, when we were the last Blades channel, we used to record stuff in the garage, but that wasn't me. That was mostly just play a tape recorder in the corner. Let's fuck around. And then he got this recorder, and we started recording stuff, but that was usually him too. And then I borrowed it
forever.
And I actually know more about it than he does.
So you just kind of tinkered with it for a while until you got used to it?
Yeah, it's how I do everything. I don't actually learn, like, book-wise.
There's no brochures or...
Yeah, it's like...
Recording for Dummies books lying around.
Yeah, it's just, I test. And then, like, I'm the guy that learns guitar the same way a lot of punk rock bands did in the 70s. There's that magazine page that said E... They gave the chart for E, A, and D, and then it said, now form a band. And I was like, well, alright, I'm done. You just grow from there and just figure out what sounds good.
Okay, where do you see your projects or bands, Nameless and Just Jason, heading in the next 5 years?
Well, it depends on whether or not I move to New York. Basically, Nameless, I need a band. And if I can't find a band, then it'll just be strictly recorded nonsense. And for Just Jason, I'll just play wherever I can, even if it's street corners. I have an album for each project ready to go, depending on how earwax sells and stuff. And I'll just see how those go over before I move on with anything else.
And if either of those bands happens to take off, how big do you expect to get, or do you want to get, really? I mean, what's the limit for you?
I would love to be Captain Beefheart famous, where all musicians know who I am and like my music, but the general public's just like, who the fuck are you? Because then I could still go to the store and hang out, but I could also, live off of it.
Right. Either end.
Yeah. That's the main goal, is to not have a real job.
Okay, as far as your equipment goes, like, cymbals, drums, guitars, recording equipment, pedals, whatever, do you play favorites? Do you have, like, a certain brand that you adhere to more than others?
The only thing I have a favorite of is my big muff pedal. It's the best thing ever. And it gives me pretty much every sound in Nameless. And, I don't know, I just kind of, like, take what I can get. It's more of a pawn shop kind of thing. And then I duct tape it together when it breaks.
Right.
My guitar right now is actually 90% duct tape.
Out of the people you have listened to your recordings, What ratio or percentage would you say truly enjoy it or appreciate it for what it is?
10% maybe.
So every 1 in 10.
Yeah, like a lot of people just kind of like say they like it to my face.
But you can,
but you can tell they're just like, what the fuck is this kid on?
right.
And some people are honest.
Sympathy.
It's like, oh, that's nice. You go up and do your rock star game. And other than that, like, there are people that are honest and just don't like it. But it's not their kind of music. So, like, you have talent, but you just
not
my thing, you know. And then there are people that legitimately, they always want to know what I'm doing, and they're always like, what are you recording next, and all that kind of cool stuff. And those are the people that I like.
Someone who's ignorant to underground music, what would you recommend as maybe a gateway band for those people?
If you're, I just talked about this. If you're looking to get into more experimental or underground music, pretty much I call it the gateway drug of underground music. In fact, it's Sonic Youth. They're like, you know, they're mainstream enough, and they have pop albums or like more accessible albums that you can get into, and then they slowly get into their more experimental stuff, and then they're one of those bands that's always citing other bands that you should listen to, and then you just listen to them, and you end up going throughout time, finding really interesting shit, and then you end up back at Robert Johnson.
Who would you say is maybe your ultimate hero as far as musicians go? Or just writing or any aspect of being in a band?
Well, it really changes day to day. Like lately it's been Ian MacKaye from Minor Threat and Fugazi. You just so do yourself. But mostly it would probably be Sid Barrett, just because his madness is kind of like something I admire, and the fact that he always is changing, could always do something unique. That, you know, I would like somebody who goes through mental disorder like Daniel Johnston and still comes out with pure records. It's pretty amazing.
Would you say that you have someone that's been most supportive of what you do?
Well, you, and Casey, and like anybody that just helps me make shit and indulges me for stupid art projects, and you know, who don't tell me, hey, that's just a dumb idea, unless it really is.
People that are honest.
Yeah, people that just don't give me bullshit, but they go, hey, that actually sounds cool, and then give me tips. Those people.
Have your parents been very supportive of any of this, really?
It's like it's something stupid I do.
Right.
I don't think they realize how much I do.
Do they probably just see it like as a hobby?
Yeah, something I do in my basement.
Is there something that you believe yourself to be equally passionate about as you are with music in your life?
Anyway, there's nothing I'm as passionate about it, just because I always come back to music. But you know, I take pictures. I like movies and making movies and all sorts of stuff. But when it comes down to it, it's just all about music. Because it's another thing I'm decent at that. You know, I feel a little bit better than most people about.
Your song, First Forgotten Memory. Do you mind explaining in detail about that? What that song means to you and what it can mean to others?
Pretty much the song is just about a lot of things I want to forget, but I can't seem to. Well, one of the things I want to forget, but I can't seem to. And I don't know. I guess others can get out of it if they've been through similar situations, and you know, it's kind of a song about, you know, I'm leaving, and I don't want to think about this anymore because I'm moving on. Yeah.
Pretty much all the questions I have for you. Is there anything you'd just like to add?
Buy my records. And make your own records. And fuck everybody else.